Welcome to the Film Florida podcast. My name is John Lux, and I'm the Executive Director of Film Florida. Today, our guest is Lisa Mills. In addition to being an award-winning filmmaker and industry professional for more than 25 years, Lisa is an Associate Professor of Film at UCF's Nicholson School of Communication and Media. Thanks for joining us on the podcast today, Lisa.
Happy to be here.
I like to start all of these interviews with a bit of an origin story. So tell us how you got your start in the industry.
Well, I originally wanted to be a newspaper reporter, but couldn't get an internship at a newspaper and wound up working in a television newsroom instead. So I really came to filmmaking from broadcast journalism, but it's all storytelling anyway. So I feel like everything I've done throughout my career has prepared me for the next moment.
When did you join the faculty at UCF, and what brought you there?
I was producing a daily news magazine show for WESH-TV. It's the most difficult job I've ever had. We were doing a half-hour investigative news program on location every single day. And I did that for a couple of years until the television station was sold and the program was canceled. And the cancellation happened to coincide with the completion of my master's degree at UCF. And just luckily for me, a journalism professor didn't show up in August of 1999. And the director of the Nicholson School of Communication, Dr. Mike Meske, called and asked if I could handle teaching a few classes at UCF. This was the fall of 1999, and I told him I would be delighted. So I left broadcast journalism, and that's really when I started my academic career.
So even after you joined UCF, though, you continued to work in the industry. Talk about why it's been important for you to do that, as well as the balancing act between kind of two careers almost.
Well, I did continue to work in the industry. I actually still filled in the Channel 2 newsroom when they needed somebody overnight or on weekends occasionally. But what I really did was change direction into producing more public affairs and documentary-style programming for our local public television station. And the way that I found the balance between teaching and working in the industry, of course, was easy because I engaged my students. And we produced 55 different programs for WMFE television over about a 5-year period. And they worked with me doing everything from running camera and audio to editing. And then actually a couple of them wound up being the line producer for the program. So they're out in their television and film careers now. There are many students that worked with me on those public television station programs that are now out working in the industry, and stay in touch with them and very proud of their accomplishments.
So focusing a bit more on the UCF side, the film program was recently moved out of the School of Visual Arts and Design and into the new Nicholson School of Communication and Media. Besides the film program, what else is now within the Nicholson School?
Well, we're all very excited about this development. It just makes a lot of sense. Along with film, digital media, and the Florida Interactive Entertainment Academy will be moving into this new Nicholson School of Communication and Media. The film program is going to be in a new department of film and mass media, and that department will consist of film, radio, television, and journalism. So now we are in a school where we teach our students across multiple disciplines how to make creative and journalistic content. And so I think it's going to be a really good fit for everyone involved, especially the students. It's going to give them more choices. Students really don't see the borders between all of these different disciplines. Students these days see all of them blending together as creative content making. So I think this new school arrangement is really following the trend in the industry and is going to make our programs more up to date.
Lisa, as you know, Florida is home to a number of terrific film schools. What do you feel sets UCF apart from some of the others?
What sets our program apart is our focus on independent filmmaking and the micro-budget paradigm and the independent filmmaker as auteur. I mean, they are the director, they are the writer, they are the producer. We work with small filmmaking crews. They're thorough crews. There might be 20 to 30 people out on a narrative shoot. But it's this small style of filmmaking along this independent micro-budget paradigm, I believe, that sets us apart from programs that are more focused on industrial models. So one of the things that sets us apart as well is the ability of students to come in and dabble in multiple genres of filmmaking. They might think that they only want to make fiction narrative films, but once they get into the program, they realize that they're also interested in nonfiction filmmaking and experimental filmmaking, or maybe a hybrid form of filmmaking and digital filmmaking. So we encourage students to experiment, dabble, expand, think about filmmaking in a broader sense, and try to get experience doing as many different kinds of filmmaking as they can while they're in our program.
And I think that's really important because thinking back to my days in college, it wasn't until my junior or senior year and even beyond that I actually truly understood what I wanted out of my career. So I like the idea of having that flexibility throughout the education process so they don't get locked into something and only to realize that maybe that's not what they truly have a passion for, or maybe that's not what they can find a job for. So I think it's great that you guys give the students flexibility to learn different parts of the industry.
Well, we have 2 different degree programs, a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and a brand new curriculum that we're excited about because both of these degrees are production degrees. In the Bachelor of Arts degree, that's where students are going to focus on the particular kind of skills they want to work with, whether they want to become editors, producers, cinematographers, or perhaps screenwriters. They can do that in the Bachelor of Arts program. And then they can submit a portfolio if they so choose in their sophomore year and try to get into our Bachelor of Fine Arts limited degree. And the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree is more focused on authorship. So you have our collaborative students in the BA and authorship students in the BFA. But whether you get the BA or the BFA, you're going to get hands-on experience in filmmaking. That's another thing that we're excited about with our new school and this new curriculum.
That sounds great. Another thing that UCF is very excited about right now is that you're in the middle of a huge transition with the addition of the UCF campus in downtown Orlando. What can you tell us about the status of the downtown transition and what it means for the Nicholson School of Communication and Media?
Well, UCF and Valencia College are building a campus in downtown Orlando, and it's taking shape quite quickly. Right there next door to the Bob Carr Auditorium and across from the Center for Emerging Media, where our Florida Interactive Entertainment Academy is situated. So what we're going to do is in fall of 2019, it's going to open with its first phase of about 7,700 students, and they will be from both UCF and Valencia College. The downtown campus is right now one of the largest and most impactful projects in UCF and Valencia's history. It's going to be a huge impact on the downtown area. I mean, it's just a few minutes away from City Hall and the Central Business District and the new Sports and Entertainment District. So it's going to be a really unique learning environment for students and hopefully within walking distance of some internships and jobs. So we're excited about that. The phase that the Nicholson School will go down there will be a little bit later. It's probably going to be 5 years or more before our building takes shape down there. But already we are formulating new programs. We are enhancing and strengthening and creating new partnerships with downtown businesses. So even though we don't have our facility built down there yet, we're already moving forward in changes to our film program, our digital media program, FIA, radio, television. Already changes are underway so that once that new building is built, we'll just slip into it seamlessly, and those partnerships will be the best thing for our students.
It's really exciting, and as a resident myself of Central Florida, every time I'm in the downtown area, you can see something different, and it's an exciting time for the school, I know, and an exciting time for downtown as well.
We're going to have our School of Public Administration, Health Management and Informatics, Legal Studies, Public Affairs, and then, of course, eventually Digital Media and Communication. And Valencia is going to be offering some of the general studies courses as part of our programs. They'll be offering some courses in digital media, health information technology, culinary, hospitality, and workforce training with some certificates that are going to be exciting.
That is very exciting. We talk a lot in our industry about technology because it's ever-changing and it obviously impacts our industry. Talk about how technology has changed the film program at UCF, and what is the philosophy overall in terms of trying to keep up, because it is an effort. Every time you purchase something or have something, new piece of software or hardware, it seems like it's already outdated by the time you get it in. So what's the overall philosophy of the school when it comes to technology?
Well, our philosophy is that every decision a filmmaker makes should be based on the goal of what it is they are creating. So it's not about the cost of the camera or the sophistication of the lens. It's all about what it is you're trying to say with your piece that you're making. So we provide students with a wide variety of camera packages, everything from high-end digital cinema filmmaking back down to 16-millimeter film and Super 8 cameras. A lot of our experimental filmmakers are using real film to express artistically a theme or a goal, or maybe just some sort of a feeling or an engagement with the audience. So from the very beginning, when we're talking with our film students, we're talking to them about meaning, about what their voice will be, and why they want to use this complex and expensive and difficult form of art to express themselves. Why film? And then once they figure out their voice as a filmmaker, each individual product, it's our job to ask them, why must this film be made? And really push them on that question until they come up with the answer of why that film needs to be made, what it will say. And then you can go to the question of, well, okay, what kinds of tools do you need to bring that forward and meet that goal? So when you walk into our equipment room, you're going to see a wide variety of cameras, lighting equipment, lots of different kinds of audio, all of the many different tools that filmmakers want to have on hand as they're making choices that are led by the goal of their product.
Lisa, talk a little bit about some of the award-winning projects that you've worked on and how you've been able to incorporate some of your students into those projects.
Well, we have a class that is a partnership between the College of Arts and Humanities and our Burnett Honors College. And the class is Advanced Documentary Workshop. And it is co-taught by myself and Dr. Robert Casanello in the History Department. And this started close to 10 years ago when my department chair and Robert's department chair called a meeting. Robert and I were brought into that meeting. We did not know each other, in fact, had never met. And we were told by our department chairs, guess what, you're going to work together with students to make documentary films. And we were just lucky that we really clicked. We like to think of ourselves as the yin and yang of documentary filmmaking. Robert, with his research background and his historical knowledge, and he comes up with the ideas for our history documentaries, and then it's my job to work with the students to try to bring them to the screen. So this formula has worked very successfully with a lot of students over the years. A couple of the standout films that we've made were The Committee, about the Johns Committee purge of LGBT students and professors at Florida's public universities in the 1950s and 60s, and that won a Suncoast Emmy Award. And then we made a documentary about women's fight for academic freedom in the late 1920s at Florida State College for Women, and that particular documentary about their fight to have classes on evolution, biology, human sexuality, that particular film was called Filthy Dreamers, and it won UCF's first ever college television award for Best Documentary. And that was very exciting for the students. They traveled to Los Angeles for the awards ceremony, and we beat out Chapman Leonard University and Northwestern University for that award. It was UCF's first college Emmy. So we were very pleased. And we've got a new film underway right now with these honor students, and it's another history film set in Central Florida, 1964. The name of the film is Marching Forward, and it's about how two high school marching band directors crossed the color line to do what was best for their students. It centers on the Jones High School Marching Band and the Edgewater High School Marching Band, and how the Central Florida community came together to send both the black band and the white band to the World's Fair in 1964.
Wow, that's a great story.
Well, we're excited about it. We're in the finishing stages of editing the film right now, and we're hoping to debut it at prominent Florida film festivals in early 2019, spring of 2019, and then from there we have just finished writing a grant that we hope will help us with finishing funds. We would submit it for syndication on local public television stations. We were fortunate to have The Committee syndicated, and it's still in syndication right now with American Public Television and has screened more than 5,000 times across the country. So this is the kind of thing that students can put on their resume that really leaves an impact with potential employers. So it's really important that students can get these sort of hands-on opportunities with their professors at UCF and wherever it is that they're going to school. It's great for students to make their own individual projects, of course, to learn about themselves as filmmakers and to explore different genres. But we also believe it's important for faculty to work with students on their projects too. I mean, this is our research that we do with the university, and students can learn a lot in partnership with us in our particular projects.
Lisa, a lot of the projects that you do outside of the university, as well as bringing some of the students into them, focus on Florida and focus on some of the history of Florida. So talk about your experience as part of the Florida filmmaking community.
I really did not become a part of this community until about 2007, even though I had worked in Florida television stations for 25 years. And what was surprising to me in my transition from television program making to independent filmmaking was the strong, collegial, and talented filmmaking community in Florida, and how vital that filmmaking is to Florida's overall art-making culture. This is a state where we are inspired, whether it's through our environment or through our culture or through all of the crazy events that happen here. This is a culture that is inspired to express. And I have really enjoyed getting to know other filmmakers and other artists over the past 10 or 11 years to learn what inspires them, to look at their work, and to be surprised by how helpful and encouraging they all are, whether or not it's a painter or a music composer or a fellow filmmaker. When you get together and you talk, everyone's excited about everyone else's work and wants to hear about it. There's no false competitiveness in this state. Everybody feels like we're in it together to help each other create. And I think that that's an attitude that we can express and expose our students to as well. As our students go out into Florida and beyond, it's so important to understand why collaboration is such an important part of filmmaking. No film alone. This is a collaborative art. And the more people you know that are making any kind of art or telling any kinds of stories in lots of different ways, the more connected you're going to be to what it is we feel so compelled to do. And that is, tell stories and express with just it's a very sophisticated and complicated medium, film is. And boy, if you're going to do this, you need help. And help is here in Florida, and I've really enjoyed getting to know people in the art making and filmmaking community here.
Well, that's a great point, and it's very well said, and I'm very happy to hear about your positive experience and thrilled to have you part of the community, both as a filmmaker as well as part of Film Florida from the education side at UCF as well.
Well, thanks for having me. I think the future is bright for filmmaking in Florida, and I'm pleased to be a part of the efforts to make it so.
So that'll do it for this episode of the Film Florida podcast. Thanks to Lisa Mills for joining us, and thank you, of course, for listening. To learn more about UCF, visit ucf.edu. That's ucf.edu. And, of course, for more information about Film Florida, go to filmflorida.org, as well as check out our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn.